Hey, what's up, everyone? Trent here. I appreciate you tuning in. Right now, join me as we unpack the billionaire lifestyle of activist hedge fund investor Bill Ackman. Let's go. I got pretty interested in Bill Ackman after listening to him talk on CNBC a couple times. He's what we call an activist investor. We'll get into what that is later in the episode. But he was born in New York to a pretty wealthy family. His dad was the chairman of a real estate development firm. He ended up graduating from Harvard at age 26, getting his MBA. And against the advice of his professors and his dad, he immediately started an investment firm called Gotham Partners. They did really well during the dot-com bust in the early 2000s. And then that was right around 1992. He started that. In 2004, he started his current company, Pershing Square. And he started with $54 million in assets, so clearly he was helped out there. And then within 10 years of 2004, he grew his fortune to over $1 billion, $15 billion assets under management. So clearly made some good trades through his strategy of activist investing. One notable thing is he actually has a Netflix documentary about him called Betting on Zero. He essentially called Herbalife a pyramid scheme and spent over $40 million trying to prove that and went on this tirade social campaign. Pretty interesting. Check it out. Personally, I'm fascinated by billionaires. That's why I make these videos. It's easy to look at these men and women who have accumulated such great fortunes and think, oh, they're an overnight success, they lucked into it, etc., etc. When in reality, there's a lot that goes into trying to make that much money that I feel like there's a lot of inspiration and learnings you can gather from just looking at these people, their lives, how they spend their money. Meanwhile, when I go to restaurants, I do a double take when I spend over $25 on my meal. If you guys think it would be cool to be a billionaire, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Let's get into Bill Ackman. How did Bill Ackman begin investing, which led to his $1.6 billion fortune? Let's find out.
And the first stock I bought went up.
Sounds easy enough.
I found what I want to do.
Okay, buy stocks, go up. Sounds easy enough.
Actually, my
Did
father,
you get that?
Here.
This is Bill Ackman on the best advice he ever received.
I asked Richard what he thought of the idea. He said, you know, Bill, you don't need to be old to be right. That was enough for me, and I started an investment fund.
Once he graduated college, he started his own investment fund. I think that's pretty important advice, especially someone like myself and a lot of you guys. We're younger professionals, and oftentimes you're younger in the workplace. There's a lot of older people, and they have the natural seniority. So you just got to think you can be right too. And that's what he said. That's great advice. We're now going to listen to Bill break down his strategy of activist investing.
Throughout my career, the vast majority, particularly our most successful investments, have been ones that have been controversial in one way or another.
This is where he breaks
Activism
down.
is a shareholder who behaves like an owner. People call these hostile bids. It's not hostile to the shareholders of these companies. It's only hostile because it's not something that management of the target company has requested.
What that means is if you had $1 billion to invest, and let's say you put $1 billion into Disney, that would hypothetically be 8% of the total shares available. So you'd be such a majority stakeholder that you would have say in board meetings. You could start a proxy fight. Essentially, you can make management changes and different strategic changes. You can offer the advice, and they could either take it, or you could start some sort of hostile takeover to try and get what you want. And that's how you can really drive change through organizations and make a lot of money. The final takeaway I have here, guys, is his quote, and we just mentioned it, is that his most successful investments have been controversial, and that his first rule of activist investing is to make a bold call that no one believes in. I think it's crazy to think that, so his organization, if you look him up, Pershing Square, is less than 50 employees. Such a small conglomerate where they're not actually producing anything can generate so much money. And that's what makes that whole hedge fund track so lucrative, and someone like Bill Ackman particularly interesting and noteworthy and worth looking into. I hope you guys enjoyed this content today. If you have any other folks you'd like me to break down in a similar content, I'm always refining it. Go ahead and comment below those people, and I'll go ahead and take a look, and that may be the inspiration for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.